Hey folks, Lydia here. Can't keep silent. And as the title suggests, I can't keep silent. I've been really low key about the whole, Roe versus Wade overturning and stuff because as I have uh, observed the response to that, I have just been overwhelmed. Like I'm so emotional. I'm so emotional. And I really didn't want to be emotional when I addressed it. And, you know, there are just so many things running through my heart and my mind. And when I pray, it's just like going through my mind. And it's just so much. It can feel overwhelming sometimes. And I'm the kind of person that likes to present things in a systematic succession and a way that's just very orderly. And I haven't been able to like put my feelings and my thoughts about this in a way that can flow in some kind of organization. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get on here. This is a different kind of video for me and just talk, okay, about this. I want to say a few things though before I start, just to make it clear. First of all, I'm not here to argue about anything, okay? Everyone out there shares their view, their opinion. I'm just sharing mine. You can agree with it, you cannot. Then second, I don't condemn anybody. I have been in the ministry for over 30 years, and the people who I've ministered to the most is women. Okay? I love women. God has called me to minister to women, and I have. I've been faithful to that. Okay? I am a post-abortive woman. I had an abortion, when I was 15, and I've been dealing with this issue ever since I got my healing in 1997. So 25 years, I've been interacting and ministering to and helping women who are considering abortion or who have aborted. And not just that, but I've helped women who've struggled, after having their babies. I've helped families and whatever. And I don't want to get into that. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just trying to give you some background because people make certain assumptions about you if you're pro-life and you don't know me. If you don't know me, you don't know me. Okay, but I just want to put that out there for you. I love people, and I try to help people. I feel people's pain. I'm very empathetic, and I've just been feeling a lot since this Roe versus Wade decision came down. So I just want to make that clear as well. I'm just trying to give a different side because I've been watching my the news posts that I watch on a regular basis, and most of what they put out there is pro-choice. Most of it. They give stories of women who've had tragic circumstances, from being pregnant, and I don't discount that, but I've also seen different sides. So it's just the side you project. So I just want to put another side out there, and you can accept it, you can reject it, but as far as the Roe versus Wade, I have made it clear for like the past at least 25 years that the overturning of Roe versus Wade wasn't the goal for me. I'm all about changing hearts because to me, abortion is just barbaric. I've had one, and I know the suffering that women go through. I'm a woman. I've had my share. And I've ministered to so many women who have suffered. So I get that. I get it. But I also think about the baby. you know? And how we can think it's okay to do that is, I don't know, do that to our own children. I know there are people out there who say, oh, it's not a child, it's a potential baby. Yeah, okay, whatever. When I think of motherhood, like when that child is in your womb, you are that child's mother. You know, that child has a father, that child has a family. There are people out there with that child's DNA that share the same DNA. And, to just decide that, your life isn't that important, I don't know. I'm about changing the hearts, turning the hearts of the fathers and the mothers to their children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers. That's what I want to see. I don't know who I heard say it, but they had like a theme or a motto: every child a wanted child, right? And I guess their take on that was, if it's not wanted, abort them. But I also believe every child should be wanted just because they're your child. I do want every child to be a wanted child. I talk about that. I teach people about children, to try to change people's mindsets regarding children. Oh my gosh. So that's what I'm about. And when I look at the reaction, the first reactions that I saw to the overturning of Roe versus Wade on the little news feed that I read, it was just groups of women, with signs, and, their signs say, keep your laws off my body. And, I get to choose what I want to do with my body. And, just so much anger and so much frustration. And I get that. And so when I looked at all these women protesting this, you know what I saw? I saw like centuries and generations of pain of women who had been viewed as property, and women who had been abused, and women who had been misused and raped and just used as some plaything or a pleasure toy and discarded. I saw like generations of women who had been abandoned, and left to fend for themselves and their children. And it just hurt my heart because, to me, abortion is not in a vacuum. And this is why it was so overwhelming to me, that I was feeling so many things as I was reading. I had to stop reading things because it was just triggering so many things in me. Because it's not just a vacuum. This is not just about abortion and a woman being able to choose what she does with her body. It's like there's so much undergirding that. And in this particular instance, because again, I don't have an order here, I'm just talking, okay? I just gotta let it come out however it comes, okay? There's a fear, in women that has bred this control, that I have to be in control, because that's what fear does. When we fear something, then we have to be in control, so what we fear does not happen. And because of what we've gone through, as females, sometimes I feel like that pain is in our DNA. It's just transferred, generationally. It's just transferred down family lines. And even when we look at other women who have suffered, like, there are things we as women suffer in the U.S., but women around the world suffer so much worse. And you see that, and it's like your heart breaks. As a woman, your heart breaks for them. And so I understand, that that mindset of, I gotta look out for me, what's best for me, because no one else is. I get that. I really get that. And that's what I saw when this was overturned. And so I understand it. I do. I understand the anger and the frustration. But on the other hand, my question is, instead of just saying, okay, well then you just abort your baby, why can't we just deal with and resolve what women are dealing with? That's always been my thing. It's like, why can't we just deal with that? And it seems like that's not even an option. It's like we have settled for what it is. Because, oh my gosh, being black, being black and being a woman, it's like you kind of get double whammies. Oh my gosh. And so my heart really goes out to black women as well. Okay, so for instance, today I read an article. Let me see if I can pull it up here. This article was from this publication called Shape, I guess. And as experts unpack the ripple effects of overturning Roe versus Wade will have on black and brown communities. Now, let me say this. COVID wore me out with the inequities in the healthcare system. It wore me out, okay? The rate of deaths related to COVID in the black community, it was disproportionate. And when it seems like just when stuff happens, there's always a disproportionate number of black people who are affected. I've just seen it. And so then COVID wore me out with that, right? I was just like, why don't we have better health care? I have a niece and a cousin who, part of their passion is communicating to black women that you have to advocate for yourself as far as healthcare is concerned. Especially when you're having children, when you're having babies. And I'm like, why? It's like, why is this an issue? Why is this an issue? But it is, okay? So we have this article right here. And it says a lot of things in it that maybe I'll address at some time. But again, here, this is one effect of this overturning of Roe versus Wade. It says, while much is still up in the air, one thing is clear. Now, this is clear. If people of color aren't given access to abortions, the already disproportionately, there is that word again, high maternal mortality rate for non-white women will continue to soar. Black women are currently 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy related cause than white women, according to the CDC. And so when I read that, I'm thinking, well, why? So there was the next sentence. It says, this is due to a variety of factors, including quality health care. Is that something that can be changed? This is not something that's just inherent in black women. Okay? Including quality health care, underlying chronic conditions. Why is that? Structural racism and implicit bias, reports organization. These are things that can be changed, and they should be changed. Just taking this right here is the substandard quality of care that black women get overall and during pregnancy. It's like all of the protesting that's going on to fight for women to abort so that these things can happen. Why can't we put that energy into changing these things? I don't get that. Why are we settling? Why are we settling for this and fighting so hard? Because I don't know. I haven't seen a push. I mean, I've seen it more lately for like dealing with these inequities in healthcare for black people and black women, but not. I don't hear it voiced as much as I hear about this right to have an abortion. So let me just interject something here because I'm just talking. I don't have anything written down. I forgot to mention. And it's not just the protesters for pro choice that I'm putting this on, pro life people too. Why aren't we putting time and energy into dealing with these issues that like a lack of quality health care, period, for women, black women or minority women? You know, why aren't we advocating for that if we know that it can impact the choice that a woman would make to carry her children? It's all of us working together to make these things happen for women if we're that serious about it. It's like, why? There are some things here I just can't wrap my brain around. Like that. Why don't we do something about that? Why don't we come up with something? Because, you know, I don't have all the answers. But one thing I know, necessity is the mother of invention. We can come up with some pretty creative, impactful ways of doing things. We really can. If we put our minds to it. If we can come together on uniting on an issue, we can really make things happen. So, what is it that we can do to keep men from just walking out on their families? What is that? Are we just accepting that? Is that something that can be changed? In my mind too, I was thinking with this whole right to choose this, because this gets me when I read stuff. It just, like, I don't know, it does something to the inside of me when I read women want the right to choose what they do with their bodies. Yeah, I want to be able to choose what I do. Who doesn't? Who doesn't, right? But I'm thinking, why can't we exercise our choice before we get pregnant? Like, why can't we make other choices regarding sex or who we have sex with? I mean, it just seems like, I don't know if paradox is the right word. And it seems like this whole thing of choice only comes up after you get pregnant, when clearly, if you've not been raped, and from what I read from the Guttmacher Institute, there's statistics that most women who abort have not been raped. Why can't we make choices then? Men, why can't you make the same choices? If you aren't ready to have a family, then why can't you choose not to have sex? These are things I don't understand, and it just, like, they overwhelm me, because it's like, these are things that we can change. We have power over this. That's the whole point of choice. You have power to choose. Like, sexual intercourse is literally how you get pregnant. I mean, sex is the way to do it. I believe that our, sex organs are really part of our reproductive system. I could be wrong, but I mean, it's part of our reproductive. I mean, it's literally how you get pregnant. And so there's always a chance that you're going to get pregnant if you have sex. Yeah. So why doesn't the right to choose come in there? And so I was wondering what was going through people's minds about that. But they addressed this in this article. It says, while some may argue the solution to lack of access to safe and legal abortions is to simply avoid having sex if you don't want to, or can't afford to have a child. Yeah. But it says the situation is far more nuanced than that. And so this person, Chapo, says, they quote, sex is a natural thing. Instead of criminalizing the outcomes of sex, we should acknowledge that sex is natural. And not all sex is automatically going to end with babies. True. All sex is not going to automatically end with babies. But the risk is pretty high, I do think. Now listen, the part that got me is this person says, we should acknowledge that sex is natural. Because it's natural, we should just go with the flow, just whenever we get the urge to just go ahead and do it. No, that's not real life. I feel like we need to grow up. You know how they say drink responsibly? I think we need to have sex responsibly too, right? And I know it's not easy. I've been there, okay? I've been there. I've been tempted. those are some pretty strong feelings, I understand it. But I've had to fight those temptations, and it's been difficult because they are so natural, right? I acknowledge that. But if we put a value on our children, and women, then, it's like, no, we can't do that to our babies. These are our babies growing in there. This is a part of me. We have to attach a value to that. And is it worth taking their life for this 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever of pleasure? Like, really? Because I tell women all the time, abortion is a permanent solution to a temporary issue. A lot of the reasons why women abort, they could change down the line, but you'll never get that child back, ever. And having ministered to post-abortive women, some women who aborted because of their career or because they don't want to lose their man or because of even their financial situation. And then 30 years down the road, 40, I've ministered to women who have aborted 40 years before. All of a sudden it dawned on them that it wasn't worth it. It wasn't even worth it. It's a temporary situation that you're choosing a permanent solution for. At least what you think is a solution. To take the life of a child in the womb as a parent, I believe that's unnatural. That's not natural. That is not natural. But again, because I believe women have experienced so much that it's just a point of survival right now. It's like we're not going to let anybody take advantage of us anymore or put us in these positions. And I remember, and I've told the story before, but I remember talking with a pro-choice woman. She's a good friend of mine, a really good friend. I love her to pieces. Was talking to her, and she's strongly pro-choice, very strong feminist or whatever. And we had a conversation about abortion, and the Lord showed me something about her as she was talking. And so I told her what I discerned. I said, it sounds to me like you're angry because you are not a man. And she paused for a minute, and she said, you're right. She admitted it. She was angry because she was not a man. She was angry because she didn't think it was fair that men got to walk away from their responsibility to their woman and to their children. She didn't think that was right, that they just were able to do that. And so women have kind of changed, suppressed whatever nurturing or maternal feelings they may have just to survive and protect themselves. But I think, we need to be healed, first of all, which is why I minister to women. I want to help bring healing to women. That's what I want to do. And, you know, we just got to make better choices before pregnancy. Before pregnancy even happens, we do have a right to choose. And let me say this about the right to choose. I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Laws do not take away people's right to choose. God gave us that right. God gave us the ability to choose. And all my Christian and brothers and sisters who, say that, in an effort not to deal with the whole Roe versus Wade, they have to make their choice. And if they choose abortion, that's their choice. That's between them and God. I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to say that laws don't take away your right to choose. If that was the case, we really wouldn't have anyone in prison, would we? We wouldn't have anyone in jail. Why are the prisons full? Why are jails full? Why are crime rates like skyrocketing and whatnot? It's because people have a right to choose what they're going to do. They can choose to break the law. If they really want to do something, they can choose to do it. It's just they have consequences. And so this whole thing, to me, this right to choose is not so much choosing what you do with your body, because you always have that unless, again, you've been raped. This is more about choosing your consequences, which, again, we don't always get to choose those. Some stuff we just have to deal with because that's what we have to deal with because of our choice. And I think there are definitely things that can make it easier for women to, have their pregnancies and their children. Definitely things we can do. And I'm like, why can't we fight for those things? As I said before earlier. And I only gave like a couple examples. The question is, why do we want to ban abortion but don't want to help women have their babies? Why can't we make it easier for them to do that? And why can't we make better choices regarding our sexual life? Why can't we do that? And so let's deal with those things. It's so easy to say, yeah, well, just let her make the decision. Let her make the decision with what she does with that pregnancy. Yeah, that kind of takes the burden off the community to kind of help one another. Especially because we don't want to touch the sex issue. We don't want to touch that. That's like our idol. That's our sacred cow. We don't want to change nothing there. That's literally how we get these pregnancies. And I don't mind having having a civilized conversation about it. I want to have real, genuine conversations with people. It doesn't matter what you believe as long as you're honest with me. Because some people, they just want the right to be able to terminate the lives of their babies. That's all. It's the inconvenience, and I just don't want to do it. It has nothing to do with rape. It has nothing to do with the health of the mother. And if that's you, then just say so. But don't try to make it look like it's something else when it's not. Okay, we can have a conversation, about that. So, again, there's more, lots more that I have in my heart about that. But I'm just going to stop here. All right. Talk to you guys later.